Welcome in to Cowboys Rewind. I'm Dani Sureck. The Cowboys' 41-16 Thanksgiving loss to the Washington football team pales in comparison to the tragic loss of Cowboys strength and conditioning coordinator Marcus Paul, who passed away this week. Paul was beloved and respected by everyone he worked with throughout his career. The Cowboys held a moment of silence prior to kickoff and wore MP decals on their hats and helmets. The Cowboys are now in last place in the division, and with a win, Washington moves to first. Right off the bat, the Cowboys had bad luck. Left tackle Cam Irving injured his right knee, and right tackle Zach Martin injured his left calf, both on the first drive of the game. Both out for multiple weeks. A banged-up offensive line against a top defensive front in Washington? Not the most ideal scenario for the Cowboys, who only managed to rush for 60 yards. Running back Ezekiel Elliott says as professionals, the Cowboys need to have the next man up mentality and be successful with whoever they have on the field.
You got to execute better, execute the game plan better, be better situationally, and convert third down so we can, keep our defense off the field and give them a rest. We just got to build on it.
How tough is that first possession? You lose your left tackle, and then obviously you lose Zach. Is your head spinning when you see those guys go down?
Yeah, definitely. It sucks, but we're pro football players. This is pro football, and we got to have the next man up mentality, and we got to go play with what we have. And I think we were in a good. We had ourselves in a good situation in this game. We just got to figure out in the second half just the way to, close it and just play better.
Well, it's so hard
When you look at the 0 for 3 in the red zone, you talked to us a lot about getting 7 points once you get into that red zone. What's not working down there? What y'all need to change?
I don't know if I can really pinpoint anything right now, but I'm definitely going to watch the game tonight, take a look at it, and see what we can improve on.
Why was it so hard to run the ball today, you think?
One, they have a great front seven. I think their whole D line is first rounders, so they're great. They're a tough team, a tough front seven to go up against, and we just gotta find a way to get the job done.
It's tough anytime a guy goes down, but to lose someone like Zach so early in the game, what were your thoughts about just losing a player of his significance?
Just kind of this year in a nutshell. Just glad it wasn't anything too bad. Glad it wasn't a knee injury, and all we can do is pray and try to get him back.
At 3-8, the Cowboys sit at the bottom of the division with 2 division games left to play. If we've learned anything so far this season, though, it's that anything's possible in the NFC East. In Thursday's game, the Cowboys coaching staff made a few questionable decisions which left people scratching their heads. On the other side of the break, we talk about those risky decisions and how they affected the final outcome of the game. Stay with us.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T Academy, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys, and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
This Cowboys coaching staff is quite comfortable with taking risks. So far this season, we've seen fake punts, an onside watermelon kick, and instead of going for the safe field goal call, they've gone for it on 4th and down. On Thursday against the Washington football team, the Cowboys made 2 more risky decisions, which did not bode well for the Cowboys. The Special Edition crew breaks down those risky decisions and how they affected the final outcome of the game.
Let's get into the coaching decisions, and how about with just over 12 minutes left in the game, and the decision by Mike McCarthy to run a fake punt on 4th and 10 from the 24-yard line down by 4 points, Bucky.
Didn't make sense at all. Didn't make any sense. I really can't understand this. This is an offense, the Washington football team, that has struggled coming into this game. And even though they had some success, you have to feel like with a 4-point deficit, your defense is playing hard and doing a pretty good job of keeping them under wraps. You just got an interception. It just didn't make any sense. So I don't understand why the Dallas Cowboys took the approach that they were the prohibitive underdog in this game. It is something that Mike McCarthy will have to answer, not to us, but to his team, for why he took this tactical approach, because it didn't make sense.
Yeah, not only did it not make sense, it was completely disgusting. I was appalled that they made that play call, and I was appalled that Coach McCarthy sat up there and defended it following the game. You can't put your team in that situation. Your guys are fighting hard. You have been, over the past 3 weeks, you've been fighting to gain confidence, and for your players to gain confidence in you and your ability to make correct calls. And then you go out there and you put them in a situation like that. Play the field of possession game. You have an amazing punter that you picked up here recently who's been kicking the mess out the ball. Let him change the field of possession and let your defense have a chance to go out there and make a stop.
Your team is depleted. You have to play it by the numbers. You have to give your team a chance. Like you guys said, the defense was playing well. The offense was doing its best with the offensive line that they had on hand. I mean, you go back 20 yards to try to gain 10 yards, turn out to be 25 yards. That's not nice.
How about in the first half, the decision on the 4th and 1 to throw a pass to C.D. Lamb? What do you think, Bucky?
Man, it's part of a continuing trend. Like, look, Kellen Moore may end up being a great coach in time, but I honestly believe each and every week is about acute competition. How many cute plays can I run? What can I do? He's looking over at Scott Turner. Scott Turner's doing all this stuff, so he feels like he has to come up with it. And I just don't understand. The Cowboys had gotten to a point of being competitive by being simple. They just out-tricked themselves. I really don't understand. It's very disappointing.
Tune into Special Edition Saturday nights at 11 on CBS 11. After the game, head coach Mike McCarthy stood by those two decisions, the throw on 4th and inches in the second and the fake punt from their own 24 in the 4th. After this, we have an exclusive one-on-one interview with McCarthy after the game that you don't want to miss. Stay with us. Welcome back into Cowboys Rewind. The Cowboys seem to be on the upswing after their victory over Minnesota just days before hosting Washington. However, on Thanksgiving against the Washington football team, the strong offensive and defensive drives were overruled by mistakes. Important throws were incomplete, imperative stops were not made by the defense, and special teams was not successful on a fake punt, which immediately led to points on the board for Washington. Bill Jones sat down with head coach Mike McCarthy after the Cowboys' 41-16 loss to Washington on this week's Mike McCarthy Show.
Coach, I know this has been a very difficult, emotional week for this team, a very disappointing loss to Washington on Thanksgiving Day, but the tragic loss of Marcus Paul sends a pall over all of us during this time, and just the way that this team got up and ready to play a game on Thursday after the loss of Marcus just the previous day on Wednesday says a lot about this team, I think.
Definitely, and I think it really just in reflection of Marcus, just the type of person that he was and the impact that he has made on this whole football operations. Obviously, he's loved. We're gonna miss him, but he's just his style and his personality. He's such a man of faith, but his coaching style, old-fashioned, tough love. But I would classify him as a man of significance. Obviously, he's had a lot of professional success, but he really touched a lot of us, and it was very, very evident with our football team. And I'm very proud of our team, the way we went out and competed. But like you've stated, it did not. It was a disappointing loss. But he's definitely still and always will be on our minds.
And Marcus, of course, a former NFL player out of Syracuse, and 23 years as a strength and conditioning coach in this league, and just the last couple of years here. But I think what people need to know, Coach, is just how close a relationship strength coaches have with players, and the effect that this had to have on the players, because as many head coaches say, that your head coach during the off-season program is the strength coach. They work so closely with these players.
Definitely, and I can't say enough about your strength and conditioning staff, your training staff, and your equipment staff. Those are three departments or three areas that I always refer to fondly as the bartenders. Growing up in the bar business, those men touch everybody on a daily basis. So, and it's so important to have quality people there. And Marcus Paul, just the way he ran the weight room, the conditioning, he spends more time with the players than any of the coaches. So, but yeah, he was great at his job. But as I said, he's a man we'll definitely miss.
Okay, so the game gets started in the first offensive series. You lose Cam Irving and Zach Martin in the span of 5 plays. You've had so many injuries on this offensive line. I thought the offense rebounded from that with Brandon Knight and Terrence Steele coming in at tackle and made the most of what was a difficult situation.
Definitely, and I thought it was a credit to both those guys, and you could see that kept Kellen. He was able to stay with the plan. We tweaked some things in there, but I thought both those guys definitely stepped up.
Offensively, obviously Ezekiel had the fumble early in the first half. He had to rebound from that. But what did you see from this team offensively, as this was a very tight game going into the fourth quarter, in the early part of the fourth quarter?
Well, we felt that we needed to stay balanced as much as we could. We liked our matchups outside. The ability to get the ball in space was something that we would have liked to probably done more. But with that, I thought we were able to generate some drives, move the ball. But at the end of the day, we have to take care of that football, and that's just something that we've been struggling with all year.
Be sure to watch the Mike McCarthy Show Saturday nights on CBS 11 at 11:30. The Cowboys defense has forced 7 turnovers in their last 4 games, a drastic improvement from the start of the year. Linebacker Jalen Smith had a pick on Thursday against Washington, however, still feels disappointed. He tells us why next. The Cowboys' 41-16 Thursday loss to Washington was full of ups and downs. The defense had a few bright spots and sacked quarterback Alex Smith 3 times. Linebacker Jalen Smith picked him off and almost took it to the house for 6. Here's what Smith says he saw on that interception and why it left him feeling disappointed.
Got the ball, headed to the sideline, down the sideline. There's a defender to the left of me, so I'm gassing it, just deciphering, okay, am I going to have to cut back to score, or am I going to be able to beat him to the pylon? Once I gathered that I was going to be able to beat him to the pylon, I began digging, and then number 17 came up behind me. I didn't know he was behind me, and he got me. Unacceptable. I've ran with the ball in my hand the entire life, my entire life. So, got to pick my knees up and got to score.
Yeah, how tough was it to stop the run today for you guys?
It was tough, but it was our fault. Nothing really that they did. It's just a matter of communication and discipline on being in your gaps, and then from there it's winning in the trenches, having that physicality. Something that we've done before. We've practiced, we've rehearsed. Didn't get the job done today, and it shows.
Jalen, there were a couple times when the offense didn't convert on 4th down, setting y'all up for short fields to defend the defense. What's going through your mind when that happens, and what level of extra challenge is there when there's only 23 yards or 19 yards left for the Washington show?
Regardless of when we step on the field, it does not matter. Wherever the ball is lined, it can be aligned on the 1-yard line. Our job is to stop them. And we have the plays and the knowledge and the physical talents and the mental capacity to be able to do that. We didn't accomplish that enough today, and it shows. It's a big reason on why we were defeated. Didn't stop the run.
Jalen, Coach McCarthy's been tested in many ways here in his first year, through the COVID stuff, through the injuries your team has had, and now through Marcus, and obviously the results on the field as well. What has he been like for this team this season?
Coach McCarthy is just a remarkable person. He's a guy that loves and cares, and he knows what he's doing. We got to figure it out, and it's not all on him. It's a team effort. We play a team sport, and winning is the name of the game. All is well, but nothing matters when you lose. You have to win, especially playing for America's team. And all of these things that we're experiencing right now is only going to make us stronger. We don't have any quitters. We have fighters in this organization, from top to bottom. I just said from top to bottom. We have fighters in this organization.
One former Dallas Cowboy made headlines this week at the possibility of being enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. An exclusive interview with Darren Woodson right after this. The Cowboys have an impressive list of Hall of Famers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they might be adding another this year. Former Cowboys safety Darren Woodson is a semifinalist to be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Woodson joined Kelsey Charles and Dave Hellman on the start night this week to talk about this honor.
We're super excited to have you on the show, obviously just in general, because you are one of the Cowboy greats. But in general, there's some pretty cool news coming out of this week. You were selected as a semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Whenever we talk about defense in the secondary, you're always a name that comes up in Cowboys lore, if you will. So I know for a lot of fans, they feel like it's about time that you get your recognition in other places as well. So I know this isn't the first time that you've been a part of this list, but what does it mean for you, just to be recognized amongst some of these names and have the opportunity to, be cemented forever, if you will?
Well, of course, I'm honored to be on the list, and that's always the politically correct thing to say, is that you're honored to be on the list. Look, I mean, in reality, I'd like to be put in the Hall of Fame. I feel like I've spent a lot of time on this list, the semifinal list. My mindset is, what's the next step? And it's because it's a competitive mindset. And I played the game to win championships, which we did. We won 3. To win games, to build on relationships, but also, individually, I had my own individual goals. Anyone that's been competitive at this level, that's your ultimate goal, is to get in as an individual, to get into the Hall of Fame.
I've always thought it's really interesting. In 2020, we talk about guys like Tyrann Mathieu and Budda Baker's doing it in Arizona these days, in the sense of that, a good safety needs to be able to play deep. They need to be able to move into the slot. They're these mismatch guys. People talk about it like it's this new thing, but you were doing that in the 90s. And so I'm curious from your perspective, I know you want to be diplomatic because you're up for this great honor, but do you kind of have to laugh at the idea that this is some new thing? I mean, that's been part of your legacy for 20 years.
Yeah, and it was the reason why I was always one of the highest paid safeties in the league, if not the highest paid safety, because the Cowboys appreciated. Mike Zimmer understood that I could play at all 3 levels. I could play the deep safety, the strong safety, cover the slot receiver, cover the matchup with the Tony Gonzalez's of the world, and play the tight end. So that flexibility allowed me to have value in what I was doing. And it's similar to watching, and trust me, I love watching certain safeties play this game, but I really like watching guys that are versatile in their game and have that type of versatility, like a Budda Baker, that can come down and match up in the slot or play at every different level. Those are the type of players and the type of safeties that I like. I love the fact that they can be that versatile and do so, and it provides so much for your defense. I mean, it allows you to disguise coverages. You don't have to bring a nickel back in, and that was my deal. I never came off the field. I played the safe position on first down. If they brought in, 3 wide receivers, I moved down and I played the slot. And you can be really flexible in your defensive play calling, and that's what made Mike Zimmer so good as far as a play caller, because he didn't have to interchange personnel. He knew what he had out on the field that day.
Be sure to check out the Star at Night Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights on all Dallas Cowboys social platforms. The Cowboys are scheduled to have back-to-back Thursday night games. Their next opponent, the Baltimore Ravens, who will be without reigning MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson due to COVID-19 protocols. Be sure to stay up to date on all team news and updates throughout the week on DallasCowboys.com. Thanks so much for watching Cowboys Rewind. I'm Dani Sureck, and I'll see you next time.
Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T, SWBC Mortgage, financial solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit swbc.com. And by the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. Want to tour AT&T Stadium? For more information, call 817-892-TOUR or visit dallascowboys.com/tours.